NBC Sports, home of the Olympic Games, the NHL, the NASCAR playoffs, the Indianapolis 500, and Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football, only on NBC.
We won't get many times like this, so there's not everybody watching. This is what we live for. Let's show them who the real top dog is in this AFC.
I'm in a sweet spot. I'm feeling good. The sun is shining. I knew it would. Yes! The world's a playground. I'm in the clouds. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out.
The Chiefs to the playoffs.
NFC East champions.
The Bears have won it.
10 in a row as AFC East champions.
Back-to-back division titles.
I don't live in a hole, so I know what consequences of winning and losing are.
I'm on the big stage. I got my crew. I'll get you moving. It's what I do.
MVP.
The party's starting. It's going down. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out.
Tonight, Sunday Night Football.
Great effort from start to finish.
We're going to be aggressive. Tighten up on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out.
Tonight, the 2018 regular season wraps up in the great city of Nashville. It is win, and you're in. The Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck has never lost in 10 career games against Tennessee and has Indy 1 win from a first playoff appearance in 4 years. Marcus Mariota injured, officially inactive. So it is Blaine Gabbert making start 3 of the season. Can he lead the Titans to the postseason? What a story it would be. This is the busiest Sunday of the season. 15 games today, 10 with playoff implications, 8 going on right now. And we're watching them all. And thank you for watching us. We're going to get you everything that's going on in the playoffs. The picture will be almost set by the time our show ends, and we'll be set when we sign off later tonight after Sunday Night Football. Mike Tirico, Rodney Harrison, Tony Dungy, Chris Sims, and Mike Florio over there. Got everything covered in the league, so settle in with us the next hour and 20 or so. What a wild day. We're watching it all. What's the headline for you so far?
For me, it's a note to my friend here on my left, the Patriots. We were all concerned about them last week. They're the #2 seed, playing at home, and they put up a ton of points today.
Who did they play today?
I can't remember.
They played the Jets, right? The Jets, so relax. For me, it's the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't necessarily agree with them playing all their starters today because I think any chance you get to rest your starters, you should. But I
like Dak Prescott playing today, don't you?
What's that?
Dak Prescott playing today was big for them.
He did. He played well. That's where I was going. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, Dak was huge for them today late and maybe gained some confidence for next week in the playoffs. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's circle back to tonight's game because this is a Colts franchise. You know, it's a proud city. They'd love to get back to the playoffs. What about their defense this evening?
Well, they played great, but Matt Eberflus, the new defensive coordinator, put in the exact defense we played when I was there. Right. And my worry was always big backs coming downhill at us, and that's what they're going to face tonight with Derrick Henry.
I'm looking at both these defenses. I think for the Colts, they have to tackle well. This is a big physical back. For the Tennessee Titans, they have to do a better job than they did in the first game of not giving up the big play to Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, T.Y. had a huge game, couple of touchdowns, 155 in that one, the quarterback story. The headline for more on that. Let's go down to Music City on this last Sunday of 2018. Say good evening to Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Liam McHugh. Hello, Liam.
Hey, Mike, thanks so much. Quiet right now. They're expecting a loud atmosphere. It's win and get in, and now you need to win and get in with Blaine Gabbert. Chris, how do the Titans do it?
I think they can. Blaine Gabbert, we watched him in practice the other day. He throws the football hard. He runs 4.6. He was the 10th overall pick in the draft this year. He does a great job throwing the ball outside the numbers. His issues have come throwing the ball over the middle. And unfortunately, when you've got a guy like Derrick Henry, you want to do a lot of play action stuff off of what he can do running the football, and you're going to be throwing over the middle quite a bit. So if he's bitten today, I would say that's where it'll be.
On the other side, no questions for quarterback for the Colts, of course.
No, but there certainly was. You go back to February. Remember, Andrew Luck missed all of last season, had shoulder surgery. They didn't know if he could play this year or ever. And we talked to him last night. He was concerned. And you go back to February, and it couldn't have been crazier. Josh McDaniels is going to be their head coach. Well, at the last minute, Josh decides, no, he's not going to be the head coach. Even after they'd hired 3 assistants. But they go out and they get Frank Reich. He's done a masterful job. This team started out with a 1-5 record. They are 9-1 in their last 10 games. The only question I have is, how far can these guys go? We were around them last night, and I'll tell you what, and you know this, Chris, there's a good vibe around this team right now.
A lot on the line tonight. It's postseason or off-season. The Titans, they will roll with Blaine Gabbert. For more on that situation, let's say hello to Michelle Tafoya.
Hi, Liam. Yeah, you said it. Gabbert gets the start tonight after Marcus Mariota suffered a nerve injury last Saturday against Washington. Now, the injury affects his entire right arm. That's his throwing arm. He's experienced numbness from his shoulder to his fingers. And when asked if it was more a pain issue or a feel for the football thing, he said it's a feel thing. And he's concerned about his ability to grip the football. Additionally, Mariota has been listed on the injury report with a foot injury, plantar fasciitis in his left foot. Mariota was able to do some throwing this week, but only took part in individual work during practice. Meanwhile, Gabbert had a full week of practice and told us his preparation this week was much like it has been the last several, as Mariota was previously dealing with an elbow injury. Now, Gabbert has won both games he's started this season. Liam, 47 career starts. None bigger than this one for Gabbert.
No doubt about Michelle. Chris mentioned it. Gabbert was the 10th overall pick in 2011. He's never been on a playoff team. Tonight, he'll look to punch the Titans' postseason ticket. More from Nashville coming up. Two of tonight's stars on Sunday Night Football also starred in the All-American Bowl during high school. Andrew Luck in 2008 before heading off to Stanford. And Derrick Henry 5 years after that, giving America a glimpse of his talent before becoming a Heisman winner and a national champion at Alabama. And of course, you can see more future superstars in this year's edition of the All-American Bowl, featuring the top high school seniors in the country. That is Saturday, 1 Eastern here on NBC. Chris, the compelling story of Andrew Luck, it really has overshadowed the massive improvement for this Colts offensive line. They gave up the most sacks in the league last year. They're giving up the fewest this year. To what do you attribute all this improvement?
They spent some capital to improve that offensive line. It's really been fun to watch. So physical up front. As a matter of fact, a lot of their film sessions, they open with these sort of knockdown blocks that you've seen time after time. This one's going to be Quentin Nelson pulling out around and getting contact and just knocking down linebackers. And, of course, then you could go to the 6 offensive line package. Looks like run. You go play action. You got the great T.Y. Hilton with all this room in front of Luck where he can comfortably throw the football down the field. And you could just tell from the very beginning of this season that as Andrew Luck got more comfortable, they went to more of the RPOs, they went to more of the quick passing games. He's not holding the ball nearly as long as he did the rest of his career, and he's healthy. They've taken fewer sacks than anybody, and it has made a real difference.
And you go back to the last time they played the Titans, Andrew Luck wasn't sacked. In fact, he wasn't even hit. The only time that's happened this year. One note, though, Ryan Kelly starting center. He is out tonight with a neck injury, so Mike in steps Evan Bain.
And we will watch that and the pressure from the Titans up front, which they're a little bit depleted there. Andrew Luck's comeback, as the guys were talking about, really has changed the whole feeling around this franchise.
It has, and Chris Ballard, the GM, has done a good job putting that offensive line together, but Andrew's playing smarter this year. He's getting rid of the ball much quicker and doing a great job.
All right, let's get some of the highlights. For some of these teams, nothing on the line today, but we'll talk about how their seasons played out. Miami and Buffalo, Kyle Williams, terrific NFL player, 13 seasons, all with the Bills, his final game today. More on him in a second. Rodney, Josh Allen finished up a nice rookie campaign.
Yeah, I love this kid. I mean, he plays with a lot of heart, toughness. They're going to have to do a better job of surrounding him with better talent.
He ran for 2 today, threw for 3. How about Williams getting 1 touch?
This was great by Sean McDermott and the coaching staff, getting him the ball on offense to send him out on a high note.
And he's walking away on his own terms.
That's right. Miami 7-9, Buffalo 6-10 on the season. Disappointing season for both Atlanta and Tampa. Here's Jameis Winston. That's the decision coming up.
It really is. Do you spend that money for Jameis on his 5th year?
Played well. Bucks were ahead. Julio Jones, big catch. He got 1,677 yards to lead the league in receiving yards. End of the game, the veteran Matt Bryant with 1 more. Atlanta wins 34-32. Question on the future of Dirk Cutter. The Bucks 5-11 this year. Atlanta finishes 7-9. Lions and Packers out of it. Aaron Rodgers knocked out here early.
Yeah, this was very early in the game. Pass rush, he played a little bit after that, but went out of the game.
Worst season since his first season, where they were 6-10, 6-9-1. How about Matt Prater with a fake? The kicker throws to Levine. Bean Toilolo and Matt Patricia's team sweeps Green Bay in an otherwise disappointing regression season for Detroit at 6-10. We bring in Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. It's a busy time. Of course, all the coaching changes. Let's talk about some of the teams we saw there. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Miami. Start with the Packers.
Well, you know, the Packers took full advantage of that head start that they obtained by firing Mike McCarthy a few weeks ago. They've interviewed guys like Chuck Pagano and Jim Caldwell, former NFL head coaches. They could be taking a look at some college guys, maybe Northwestern's Pat Fitzgerald. Now that the regular season will be over, they'll spend this week interviewing coordinators from teams that earned a bye. As to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dirk Cutter, 3 seasons and out, appears to be the outcome there. All indications point to the Buccaneers firing Cutter in the near future. Farther down the state in Miami, it's unclear what's going to happen with Coach Adam Gase. He's been there 3 years, went to the playoffs his first season, but owner Stephen Ross, I'm told, is still undecided about what to do. He wants to get a significant upgrade, so he's going to hold on to Gase until he has a good feeling that he could get somebody, maybe like a John Harbaugh from Baltimore if he goes that route. But for now, Gase's future up in the air, guys.
All 3 Florida franchises with questions. I'll hit you on Jacksonville's story and what's going to happen with Doug Marrone and company coming up in a little bit. As we continue getting you ready for Sunday Night Football, winning in with the Colts and Titans, the losers out. 8 other games going on with a win already for the Eagles, putting the pressure on the Vikes, who are losing.
This is not a Corvette. This is a dump truck.
They give it to the big man. He bounces to the middle. Touchdown! Titans! Henry bounces it outside. Stiff arm. 10, 5, touchdown! Titans! 99 yards! What a run! Derrick Henry!
Give me that dump truck sound effect one more time, will you, please? The Titans and their fans have seen a big season from Henry, help put them in contention for playoffs. Somebody like you or these Titan fans or Keith Urban visiting with Mike Vrabel there, the country music star. Blue Ain't Your Colors, one of his big songs. Blue is the color for the Titans and the Colts on Sunday Night Football. We bring in Chris Sims to talk a little bit about this Titans run game led by Derrick Henry, and that has been a difference maker for this team here the last 5 games or so, and what we'll see from them tonight.
Yeah, definitely. This Colts defense hasn't let a 100-yard rusher all season long, and Coach Dungy talked about it to start the show. They're a fast defense. They want to play sideline to sideline, and I think with their Week 11 meeting, there was a philosophy change by the Tennessee Titans in offensive football, and it was more about running up the middle, being a power team. Deion Lewis, 3rd and 1. He's a pass-catching running back. What is he doing getting the ball here in this situation? That's one thing they've changed since that Week 11 meeting. This is the other thing that's gone by the wayside in the run game for the Tennessee Titans. The east and west, sideline to sideline stuff. Not going to work against the speed of the front 7 of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, here is what we've seen lately from Derrick Henry. Up the middle, pulling guards, smash mouth type football. He is a huge man, as you know, Mike, 6'4", 250 pounds. And it's brought an aggressive style to their offense, a toughness to their offense, and helped out the passing game a little, and they'll need it to help out Blaine Gabbert tonight.
We had them on a Thursday night last year. Marcus Mariota was running, but he keeps getting hit and nicked. But staying with Henry and being physical, that's become what they are.
It is what they are, and I think it's what they should continue to do into the playoffs. His size, you don't want to hit him in the 4th quarter. He wears on defenses. That's the beauty of a guy like Derrick Henry.
Colts shut down Saquon Barkley last week. Let's see what they do against Henry coming up tonight. Stick with me for a couple of highlights here. New Orleans locked into the #1 seed in the NFC. Road to the Super Bowl, goes through the Superdome, so no Drew Brees today. What about Teddy Bridgewater getting a start?
It's been a long time since he started an NFL football game. He had some good, he had some bad. It's hard to play one game all year. He was definitely a little rusty.
This one to Michael Thomas, gives him 1,405 receiving yards. He breaks Joe Horn's franchise record. He was in the game to the 4th quarter trying to get it in a game that was one-sided, to say the least. Dallas and the Giants, a bunch of Dallas guys resting for next week. They're dialed into their spot as a 4th seed. End of the game here, Saquon Barkley.
He is a wow machine. Every week we sit there and go, wow, look at this guy. But Rookie of the Year for me, Mike, I think he edges out Baker Mayfield.
Dak played the whole game, struggled early, but Chris Lady made some big throws, including this one.
Some really big throws. This should give the Cowboys offense and Dak Prescott, a phenomenal catch by Beasley here to get the knee down. But it should give their offensive passing game some confidence going to the playoffs. We know they can run it with Ezekiel Elliott.
They'll be at home next week. Michael Gallup will catch the 2-point conversion. Giants were stopped. The Cowboys beat the Giants, who finished 5-11. But But a bright spot for the Giants, Saquon Barkley, third rookie with over 2,000 yards from scrimmage in NFL history, the first rookie to lead the league in yards from scrimmage since Eric Dickerson. So an impressive start for the number 2 pick in the draft. The question is there a quarterback pick ahead for the Giants when they pick in the top 10 of this draft? Mike Florio, that all depends on the future of Eli Manning.
Well, and yeah, Mike, Coach Pat Shurmur has consistently said all year that he wants Eli Manning back next year, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. Keep this in mind. Only $17 million is due to Eli Manning next year under the last year of his contract. He's owed $5 million of it the middle of March. The thinking is the Giants will pay that money and keep him around, and if they draft a young quarterback, Eli will help groom him. Now, also in Carolina, there's been plenty of talk about the future of Coach Ron Rivera. It appears that he will be back at least for one more year. They have a new owner there who's still getting his feet wet in the NFL, and Ron Rivera's done a nice job in his 8 seasons as head coach, guys.
Yeah, he has. Panthers ran into some injury problems early on in the season. We'll continue as we work towards a win-and-in game for the Colts and the Titans, he meant. As we watch all these games finish up, including those dramatic finishes for that last spot in the AFC before this one.
This is Football Night in America, presented by Progressive.
I think that's who we're going to be as a team. We're going to be aggressive.
We are tied in overtime. Luck throws right side, incomplete.
We're not playing to tie. I mean, we're going for that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I loved it. I know he's not second-guessing it.
It's 4th and 2.
You know, the players like being aggressive.
First down for the Titans. What a tremendous call by a head coach. Mariota throws in the end zone. Touchdown, Titans!
Guys making plays. That's what this league's about.
A couple of first-year head coaches, as you've seen, not afraid to take chances. Both have their teams one win away from the playoffs, but no Marcus Mariota for the Titans tonight. It hadn't yet been announced when head coach Mike Vrabel arrived at the stadium and spoke with our Liam McHugh.
Mike, you've been part of teams that have suffered injuries, overcome them, and won in pressurized situations. Why do you think this team could be like that?
Well, we've done it before. We've kind of just gone on with the next guy and try to get everybody ready that we possibly can. I think that's the nature of this business, that whatever happens, you have to be prepared for and ready for and have a plan for.
It was just about 6 weeks ago. Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton, they combined for a number of big plays. The Colts beat your team by 28. How do you contain those guys tonight?
I don't think it's easy, but they certainly did. They outplayed us, outcoached us, most importantly. We'll have to do a much better job tonight. They're 2 Pro Bowl caliber players, but they have other guys as well. You know, Ebron has really stepped up for them, huge. The offensive line has really performed really well with the veterans that they've had and the young guys that they've added through the draft. So understand where Hines is and Mack and all those other guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you to Mike Vrabel as well, and to Liam. So, Rodney, that's your teammate. You guys played together 6 years in New England, went to 3 Super Bowls. You guys started all those Super Bowls together. Did you see Mike Vrabel, the future head coach, when he was Mike Vrabel, Rodney Harrison's teammate?
Yeah, he was very smart, and he would let you know that he was one of the smartest guys, if not the smartest guy. But the thing about it, Mike, is he was that guy. He always, and what I loved about him, he always wanted to play on the scout team. And he tried to come out and play every single position, especially in the secondary. He thought he was a free safety coach underneath all that. But the thing about Mike is he always wanted to learn. He was always asking questions. He was always inquisitive, and he's a very smart guy.
Yeah, remember all the offense, 12 touchdown receptions, 12 catches in his career, so that scout team time paid off as well. All right, guys, let's look at some highlights from teams that we know are in the playoffs. Seeding was a question with Houston and New England. First, it's Jacksonville taking on Deshaun Watson and the Texans at home. First quarter tied at 3. Texans punting. This felt like a little bit of a momentum change here.
It really was. Jacksonville makes an error, and Houston jumped all over it.
D.D. Westbrook muffed it. Texans recover. Ensuing possession, it's Watson who did a lot of keeping and running from 5 yards out for the score. Houston on top 10, 2, 3, 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. Later in the quarter, nearly picked up by Miles Jack, but DeAndre Hopkins is in the right place at the right time.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Absolutely
great concentration.
Lamar Miller, Rodney, was very good today.
Yeah, I like to see him run more and take some of that pressure off of Deshaun Watson to try to keep him healthy going into the postseason.
0-3 start to division championship for Houston. Patriots, Todd Bowles taking on the Pats. Likely his last game as the Jets head coach. Brady Sharp. Remember there were questions about how sharp was Tom? Rex Burkhead, 18 yards there. Philip Dorsett here.
What I love about Tom is moving around inside and outside that pocket. He looks healthy to me.
He threw for 4 today, and that defense started making plays against the rookie Sam Darnold, who will cough this baby up as he is pressured. Kyle Van Noy's on the spot.
And this is what I know Coach Belichick wanted to see. We've been waiting for this defense to make some game-changing plays.
They just got to play more consistent.
This is as good as the Patriots have felt after a game in a while. They win 38-3. Will get good against Gangrene. That's been typical for the Patriots, who clinch a first-round bye for the 9th straight season. 10 straight divisions, titles, 9 straight seasons with a bye, usually their Super Bowl path. They're the 2 seed. The Texans are the 3 as they win the AFC South for the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons. Rodney, I talked about them getting good and feeling good about themselves. As we watch the end of that New England game, Brady's still in. I'm sitting next to you in our screening room. I said, what's Tom doing still in there? But you kind of know these guys a little bit.
Yeah, Coach Belichick was trying to make a statement to his team and telling them, like, hey, you need to learn how to finish. You didn't finish against Miami. You didn't finish against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
On the other side, there's Houston. The Texans, the poor start. Here they are, Tony, as a division champ. They'll play next week. Deshaun Watson is the guy they're riding.
Yeah, we're in the viewing room and saying, gosh, he's running a lot. He may get hurt. But this is their formula. This is how they're going to have to win. Deshaun Watson making plays, and then those defensive stars, Watt, Clowney, Merciless, those guys are going to have to be the guys who win the games for them.
The teams who lost, the Jets and Jacksonville, have their future in question. We'll get to that in a second, but Mike Florio will bring you back in on news that broke here in the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, we talked earlier about Buccaneers coach Dirk Cutter. He is now officially relieved of his duties by the team. And in the statement, the Buccaneers say that GM Jason Light will lead the new search. So that means Light will be back, but Cutter is out. We're waiting for similar word from the New York Jets about the future of Coach Todd Bowles. It's widely believed that he will be relieved of his duties and that GM Mike McCagnon will stay put. And then finally, some good news for the folks in Jacksonville in the football operations. Everybody's coming back. Owner Shad Khan announced after today's season-ending loss to the Texans that GM Dave Caldwell, Coach Doug Marrone, and VP of Football Operations Tom Coughlin, all back, guys.
They're coming back, but some players aren't going to come back. Tom Coughlin's going to get this deal straight. We all know Tom. Look at T.J. Yeldon and Leonard Fournette. The running backs were on the bench today. They were laughing. They were clowning a little bit. This is a Coughlin quote. I'm disappointed in their behavior today. They were disrespectful, selfish. Their behavior was unbecoming that of a professional football player. Jacksonville's going to have to run a tighter ship, and with Marrone and Coughlin, that is the plan. Welcome to those of you who watch the NFC slate of games. We now know the 6 teams that will be in the NFC playoffs, and one of them will not be the Minnesota Vikings. The Chicago Bears defense was outstanding, limiting Minnesota's offense, holding them in check. 24-10. Chicago, the 3 seed, will play the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles, who won. Meantime, there's one spot being fought for in the AFC. Steeler players are on the field watching the big screen. They've won. They're rooting for Baker Mayfield. Pittsburgh is rooting for Cleveland.
Cleveland needs a field goal.
They're strange bedfellows that are playoff spots. Meantime, one of the old guys, Adam Vinatieri, who will be the 5th NFL player to play at age 46 when the Colts and Titans play tonight.
Jarvis Landry.
Adam has aged, by the way, as Tony's watching the games.
Are you kidding me?
Football Night in America is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. By Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network.
Andrew Luck will now miss the rest of the season. He won't even play this season.
You already know I gotta say my name.
Andrew Luck going for a home run deep downfield. Touchdown! 68-yard foul from Andrew Luck. Luck throws downfield. Touchdown! Dominating the football game in a beauty from Andrew Luck. He's come all the way back. The Colts are gonna win it.
What a year, second in the NFL with 36 touchdown passes. Maybe he's the comeback player of the year. He's led 3 fourth-quarter comebacks this year. But Andrew Luck's coach knows about comebacks. Frank Reich, he helped lead the biggest comeback back in college at one point and in the NFL as well. Remember Wild Card Weekend 26 years ago? His Bills trailed the Oilers, this Titans franchise, 35-3, but Reich threw 4 second-half touchdown passes. Don Beebe, Andre Reed, all a part of it. It led to a Bills overtime win led by Frank Reich, who, when he arrived at the stadium earlier, caught up with our Liam McHugh.
Frank, team started out 1-5, now 9-6, and playing for a spot in the postseason. How do you explain the turnaround?
2 things. Number one, just a belief in each other, a belief in what we're doing, and then secondly, just the mindset of taking it one day at a time.
When you took this job, there was so much uncertainty surrounding Andrew Luck. What have you learned about him this season?
Well, certainly confirm what everyone already knew. Number one, that he has elite ability and can play quarterback like few others in this league. But secondly, up close and personal, getting to see he also has elite leadership capabilities. And we've seen that, taking us through the stretch that we've been through this year.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Time now to simplify the game, presented by Microsoft Surface. And Frank Reich knew he had a great leader in Andrew Luck, but they had to keep him upright. And they did some things. They brought some new things, new players, but also some new protections.
Right.
Here.
Yeah, they got 3 first-rounders on their offensive line. It's like a vice versa role reversal for Andrew Luck early in his career. But 2 tight ends here, they're going to max protect because they know how good he is at throwing the ball down the football field and finding that right matchup.
So to take the deep shots, we might have to protect with 8 guys here. Running back, 2 tight ends, 5 linemen. Keep Luck clean and let T.Y. Hilton operate.
That's right. And then you get this unbelievable pocket. Coach, I think you or me might be able to hit this pass if we had that protection.
You'd like to throw behind
what?
That?
I might still be playing.
Hilton one-on-one. And Frank Reich brought a lot of these shots with him, but he also brought some other things, getting rid of the ball quickly.
Yes, right. Andrew Luck, he's so good in the pocket. He's got a sixth sense, but the RPOs is what we've seen from Frank Reich. And you got to respect the run, right, Coach? With the way the Indianapolis Colts are doing that, he finds Eric Ebron here at a little pass behind the linebackers.
And then Andrew has helped out, knowing when to get rid of the ball, not holding it, throwing the ball with touch on the move. But then in these big situations, don't forget about Andrew.
Yeah, that's where he is special, because you think, okay, now we finally covered everybody. Yes, we got him flustered, and he's athletic enough to go get 10 yards and get a first down. That's what makes this Colts offensive line so hard, or Colts offense so hard to defend. The offensive line and Luck combined.
And Andrew is playing great football. They'll need that tonight. Back to Mike Florio and Mike Tirico for more news.
Yeah, Tony, let's talk about this desk. Last year, you were here and talked about Chuck Pagano, which was expected being let go by the Colts. And then everyone thought for the whole couple of weeks of the playoffs, Josh McDaniels from the Patriots will be the guy to get this Colts job. He pulls out of that job at the last minute. Frank Reich ends up getting hired. But your unique story about Reich and the conversations about the Colts opening.
Well, all the concerns at the time were about Andrew Luck's future. Will he be ready to go in 2018? Will he ever be ready to go? And every candidate for that coaching job in Indy asked about Andrew Luck, except the guy who got the job. Frank Reich, he never asked about it, never came up. He just wanted to coach the Colts, and it didn't matter to him who the quarterback was going to be.
That's right. It seems like a long time ago. Remember, Luck was over in Europe getting these treatments. We didn't know how he was going to respond. He's responded very well, and he and Reich have been a good connection. They're trying to get to the playoffs. The winner of this game gets in the playoffs. If there is a winner, a tie could change matters a little bit. Andrew Luck trying to lead the Colts back to the playoffs, and another former first-round pick from a year before Luck, the 10th overall pick, Blaine Gabbert. Tennessee's playoff hopes ride with number 7 on Sunday Night Football.
Thanks, Mike.
Simplify the game. Presented by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
Welcome back to Football Night in America, one of the cathedrals of college football, Notre Dame Stadium, home of the Fighting Irish. But on New Year's Day, it will be home to the NHL as the Chicago Blackhawks and the Boston Bruins face off in the Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic. I'm Catherine Tappett alongside the voice of the NHL on NBC, Doc Emmerich. Happy to be with you here at Notre Dame Stadium. Doc, you've had a chance to see all 10 of the previous Winter Classics. What makes this one so special?
I think the fact that it was designed by and pacing along the sideways was one of the great sports icons of the 20th century in Knute Rockne. Not only did he help design the place, he had an undefeated, untied season in his only time here in 1930, and he helped design the runway that comes out here that all the Irish teams come by. And that famous motto, play like a champion today, they all slap it. Now, that's the Blackhawks dressing room. They'll have to come by that, and we'll see whether they have something special to offer before they come out.
Well, these are 2 original 6 franchises that are going to hit the ice. What can we expect in the matchup?
Best part of the Blackhawks season, 5 wins in the last 6. The Bruins, remarkably, they're in playoff position because they've had so many injuries. They've gotten guys back. It'll be a terrific matchup.
And it'll be a terrific temperature as well, about 33 degrees, which is just perfect for this game. You can find it at 1 p.m. on NBC on New Year's Day. Always a chance of lake effect snow coming off of Lake Michigan as well. Mike Tirico, we'll look forward to seeing you in South Bend.
It's Two of my favorite people. We'll see you tomorrow morning on campus, guys. Looking forward to being with you to start 2019 with the Bruins and the Blackhawks, two cities that have their NFL teams in the playoffs. And we welcome those of you who've watched all these games. Technically, 3 teams are still alive. Pittsburgh is still alive, but barely. They need a tie tonight. Guys, let's get to the highlights of the NFC games that mattered in playoff position. Starting with Arizona and Seattle. Seattle's already in. Larry Fitzgerald, could this be his last game? Well, the Cardinals showed up. Josh Rosen, 2 fits for 6.
Yeah, nice little play-action pass. Why everybody keeps saying Larry Fitzgerald's going to retire? He can still play, Mike.
No kidding.
Look at that. That's a one-hand grab right there.
This game was tied. 2 minutes left, Tony, and Russell Wilson has hit some big throws to Tyler Lockett here.
He's been the best fourth-quarter quarterback in the NFL over the last few years, and he did it again today.
And old man Sebastian Janikowski. Seabass, ball game. Seahawks get the win, 10-6. Steve Wilkes' future in question with Arizona, first year, 3-13. The San Francisco 49ers out of it. They give the Rams problems. The Rams win, they get the 2 seed. Hey, you want to see Aaron Donald with one more MVP push? Here it was today.
Just look at the quickness going through 2 guys, and the other guy wasn't even blocking him. He didn't get the sack, but he caused the disruption.
And set up the interception by Blake Countess. Here is a sack.
Another one, single. Why don't you double team him?
20.5 sacks on the season.
I'm just shaking my head. I'm speechless right now.
2 shy of Michael Strahan's mark. Jared Goff did find some rhythm. Brandon Cooks here for the score. The Rams win 13-3. They'll be the 2 seed. They get a bye, and Donald gets a lot of plaudits for a great season. Philadelphia and Washington. So the defending champs had to win to keep their hopes alive. Nick Foles, the Super Bowl MVP, back at it. In this game, he tied a record, 25 consecutive completions, so he was rolling earlier, but he missed Nelson Aguilar with a chance to break the record that Phillip Rivers set just a short time ago, earlier in this season. So it stops there at 25 in a row. But,
come on, Nick.
All right, no.
He said it's my fault.
Philly controlled the ball almost like we've never seen before in a game. Aguilar, the score here.
Yeah, and Foles was really sharp on this quick rhythm throwing, getting the ball to the open receivers. He did a great job all day.
But here's the concern. Sacked by Ryan Kerrigan, gets up slow, went to the locker room, examined for a chest injury, didn't return. So no Wentz, no Foles. Nate Sudfeld had to come into the game. He finished. He threw a touchdown. Philly with the shutout win, which put the pressure on Minnesota. They had to win at home to get in against Chicago. The Bears saw the Rams up big, but they kept playing. Touchdown early on. They take a lead 13-0. Howard had a good day on the ground. 109 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Minnesota's offense was bad, guys.
Well, the Bears' defense was the story. They were all over Kirk Cousins, and we saw him on the sideline. I don't have time. I don't have time.
He's trying to explain it to Adam Thielen right here.
You got to get open quick.
Yeah, the frustration of it. Kirk Cousins is really a usually level-headed guy. He was very demonstrative in his frustration with the receivers.
I do not have time to wait for you.
And they'll finally connect here on an 18-yarder that gives Minnesota one brief look at some offense, but it was not their day at all. Cousins threw for only 132 yards. They do get this score to Stephon Diggs, 3-point game.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to show up that offensive line because they didn't give him any time today.
And it's going to be for next year because Chicago put this one on ice. Tariq Cohen, the 3-yard score. They go for 2 and make it. Tony scratched his head on that one. Up 11. Vikings next drive. It's Cousins. Got to have it here for Stephon Diggs. Broken up, as you said. The Bears defense. They even brought in some subs.
Yeah, this was the backup group by the end.
Minnesota to the NFC Championship game last year. They are out. First look at the NFC bracket. Seattle will go to Dallas next weekend. Philadelphia will go to Chicago. So the defending champs go down to the 11th hour and stay alive and get back in the tournament, trying to defend their title. New Orleans will host every game they play in the NFC chase. The Rams are the 2 seed, and they will win. So those are the 6 that make the playoffs in the NFC. And guys, Philly was done, finished, over. They're in the playoffs now.
And to me, that's the scariest type of team because if I'm the Chicago Bears, I don't know if I would prefer. If I'm the Chicago Bears, I would prefer to play the Minnesota Vikings as opposed to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you look at the playoff experience they have veteran offensive line, and anything can happen with Nick Foles.
Yeah, and a couple of things have happened since they brought Foles in. They're running the ball more. They got Darren Sproles back. That helps them. But even the defense is playing better. I think Coach Schwartz has done a better job of protecting those young corners, giving them some help. The defensive line is coming on. Philadelphia is a dangerous football team right
Mike
now.
Florio, Chris Sims, you guys were watching the game with us. This Eagles team just feel very positive nature. They kept the Redskins under 100 yards of total offense in this game.
And they're going to have to sweat out the Nick Foles injury, chest, rib. Over the next few days, we'll hear more about any tests that they do to determine whether or not he can go. I'd be shocked if we don't see Nick Foles play with the season on the line. The season was on the line for the Vikings today.
Yep.
And they paid Kirk Cousins $84 million fully guaranteed for moments like this.
Right.
And what happened when he had a chance to cash in.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And you got to be able to handle the criticism when you throw for 132 yards in a game season or game-defining season like this. But here you go, Kirk Cousins in the pocket. Yes, at this point in his career, you would expect him to find the check down, the running back, the flare route there. Doesn't find it, holds the ball, gets sacked. Here we are later in the game, in the pocket, a little off target on an important 4th and 10 towards the end. And then, as Rodney talked about, this offensive line in Minnesota is not very good. So we're all going to sit here and blame Kirk Cousins because last year they were 13-3 in the NFC Championship game and all of that. But I think at the end of the day, they do need a better supporting cast around him. They need a running game, and he's going to have to deal with some of this criticism.
Expectations were way too high in
Minnesota
they were. This year. They were much lower for Arizona, but still, head coach Steve Wilkes in his first year not doing enough to keep the job. The thinking is he will be let go in the coming hours, if not sooner.
And we do know the Cardinals will have the #1 pick. They have the worst record in the NFL this year at 3-13. New Orleans, the Rams, and the Eagles, the 3 teams that return to the tournament in the NFC. Chicago, Dallas, and Seattle get themselves in. So half the NFC field flips from last year in the playoffs. Got a whole pile of AFC playoff highlights to get to. Ready for those, boys? Ooh. We got on-field live, too. We got a lot going on. Game 256 is coming up. It's the best day of the NFL regular season, the final Sunday of 2018.
Welcome to Hyundai's Sunday Night Kickoff.
The fact is, everybody knows we're the defending champs. It's our first victory Monday.
I'm not going to act like I know what the hell I'm going to do tomorrow.
You can't fight the friction.
We're not playing to tie.
Let's see what the fans got to say. Aaron Donald with another multi-sack performance. MVP.
Drew Brees has done it. NFL's all-time leading passer.
Rolling to his right, throws to the end zone, caught, touchdown. Phillip Rivers stays perfect.
9th victory in a row. This 9-game win streak is bull. You can't fight the friction. Saquon Barkley.
The Eagles are playing a bus game.
Cooper caught it on the bounce. Cowboys win.
10 in a row as AFC East champion.
We knew that's what the blueprint was to beat these guys. And we dominate.
And now all eyes on Nashville, Tennessee, the final game for the final spot, featuring a couple of clubs that have gone from postseason long shots to the hottest teams in the NFL. Tennessee and Mike Vrabel, remember, they were 5-6, but they have ripped off 4 straight wins. As for Indianapolis and T.Y. Hilton, well, they started the season 1-5, but they have won 8 of their last 9 games. And the comeback Colts are led by the likely NFL comeback player of the year and a man who owns a perfect 10-0 record against the Tennessee Titans. Tonight, Andrew Luck takes center stage, and he is where we begin. On Field Live, presented by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL. You know the story with Luck. Missed all of last season after shoulder surgery. We all wondered if he'd ever be the same. But over the summer, he told Colts fans not to freak out, that he'd actually be better than he was before. Tony, not only has he backed up that bold prediction, but he enters this win-and-in matchup with one of the most dangerous wide receivers in the league in T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, Liam, this is his favorite target. He had a big game in the first game against Adoree Jackson, the cornerback. He played a lot of man-to-man coverage. I expect more zone coverage and extra help from the safety.
Rodney, was a phenomenal draft on the defensive side in the first round. And Tony, this guy could be the defensive rookie of the year. Darius Leonard, Colts linebacker.
Yeah, they play the Tampa 2 defense. He's playing the Derrick Brooks position, and he plays like Derrick Brooks. He can go sideline to sideline, but tonight he's going to have to bow up and take on that downhill running of Derrick Henry.
As we go after Blaine Gabbert, not Marcus Mariota, who is inactive. Gabbert, Rodney starts for the Titans.
Yeah, to me, it really didn't matter which quarterback quarterback started because the game plan doesn't change. They're going to have to run the football, make it a very physical game, use the play action and bootlegs to try to pass the ball down the field. The key is for him, he cannot turn the ball over tonight.
How about turning around and handing to the former Heisman winner, Derrick Henry from Alabama?
Well, I'm sure that's what Mike Vrabel has said. Hey, we can't put it all on the quarterback. Derrick, you've got to be the man tonight. You've got to control the game. We're going to pound it at these smaller defensive players. You've got to win the game for us.
All right, boys, let's fly AFC. There's one spot left. The winner of this game gets it unless it's a tie that Pittsburgh gets it. Here's why that all played out. Chargers in Denver this afternoon in the Rockies. This was a backward pass by Case Keenum. Means Kyle Emanuel, go get it. Go score a touchdown. 7-0 Los Angeles. Now the Chargers trying to bounce back against Vance Joseph's team. Vance Joseph's job in question. Will he be there next year? His team did fight. Keenum, not a lot of receiver options. Tim Patrick here. He fumbles, though, and Joey Bosa, this Chargers defense, carrying the offense.
No, they really did. The offense struggled early on, and it was the defense who set them up and made the plays.
Mike Williams' 10th touchdown catch. Chargers get the win. They're 12-4, but they'll be the 5 seed in the playoffs because Kansas City locked down the 1. What a year it's been for the maybe MVP, Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill, 67 yards to get things started.
How do you play him? Again, single coverage, no help deep. And that's what you're going to get.
A lot of dancing. The Raiders had a mistake-filled start. 4 turnovers to start the game. Including Jared Cook, the tight end, checked out on that one.
He just quit on the play.
Daniel Sorensen takes it all the way for a touchdown. And here's another turnover. Justin Houston, the strip of Carr, led to another touchdown. Chiefs up 21-3. This is Mahomes. This is DeMarcus Robinson.
That's ridiculous.
Being Mahomes.
It's 89 yards. It's his 50th touchdown. It takes him over 5,000 yards. Joining Peyton Manning is the only 2 to do that combo. 50 and 5,000, and the Kansas City Chiefs are the #1 seed in the AFC. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, this is where the drama was today. Antonio Brown out with a knee injury. Game scoreless, second quarter. Here's Big Ben against the Bengals defense that came to play. Sean Williams, the pick, and it's a pick 6 for the touchdown.
Yeah, really good job by him just reading Big Ben and just picking it off.
And Ben misread the coverage. Didn't see that middle safety lurking in there.
It's been all year. He's thrown 16 picks. They are asking higher power for help from the Browns. They need to get their job done themselves. Juju Smith-Schuster, voted by his teammates as the MVP. Touchdown there. Game tied at 10.
Wow.
Now it's tied at 13 in the fourth quarter. It's Ben. It's Eli Rogers. First down to keep the drive alive. They put Boswell, the kicker, on IR this weekend. Matt McCrane signed Friday. Hero on Sunday. Steelers take the lead, 16-13.
Yes.
So Roethlisberger, they get their job done. Now they're rooting for the Browns. Everybody's sitting there. It was like sleep out on the grounds at Heinz Field and watch Cleveland-Baltimore end to see if Baltimore could get knocked off in this matchup of the last couple of Heisman winners who are in the NFL. Oh, you cannot stop this Lamar Jackson run deal, Tony.
It is the college zone read, and it's been so difficult on these NFL defenses.
Baltimore up 20-7. Looks like they're 27-7 here, but Jackson didn't break the play. They blew the play dead, ruling touchdown on the field. It denied Cleveland a touchdown.
Yeah, this was a huge call. The whistle blew. There's nothing they can do but give Cleveland the ball once the whistle blows.
Let him play.
A couple of mistakes by Baltimore, else they could have blown this thing out. Jackson looks like a 33-yard touchdown. Hold the phone. This baby's coming back for a holding call. Great highlight. Well, let's watch the hold here.
Yeah, and again, didn't need to happen. Lamar Jackson's going to make this man miss anyway. Just a little slight hold, pushed him down.
I didn't see
it back.
All right, so the game stays 9 points. Mayfield brings it back to Antonio Callaway, touchdown the extra point. It's a 2-point game. So now the Browns get the ball back late, and can they do it? Kick the game-winning field goal at the end of this drive to knock the Ravens out of the playoffs, just like happened last year. It's Mayfield. It's the former Raven, Brashard Perryman. Caught a touchdown earlier. Sideline grab there. He dropped him when he was in Baltimore. He's been playing great in Cleveland. Oh, yeah, it's a catch. Look at the Steelers. What great visuals these were as this played out. Now it's Baker on the roll. He's so good out of the pocket. To Jarvis Landry. Catch, no catch.
Yeah, this was another one they called incomplete, reviewed it, and Landry caught this ball.
All right, so Al Riveron watching in New York says, no, we're going to keep that a catch on the field. The drive stays alive. Baltimore's defense comes up. Started to pressure. Steelers are hoping to root for the Browns.
Here we go.
Juju saying, come on, Baker, give me something. They stop him on the first 3 downs. On 4th down, they blitz, and they come up with the big play.
C.J.
Mosley, the Pro Bowl linebacker, with the pick. The Baltimore Ravens don't let happen last year happen this year. They win the game. The Steelers are going home in all likelihood. They're essentially eliminated. Baltimore wins 26-24. Baltimore wins the division. They are the 4 seed to go with KC the 1. New England the 2, Houston the 3. Baltimore's the other division champ. The Chargers are locked into the 5. Indy or Tennessee get the 6. If that game ends up in a tie that you're going to see coming up in 14 minutes, the Pittsburgh Steelers would get the 6th spot. So Steeler fans are rooting for a tie. Let's talk about Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson's come in and turned the entire season around so much, the Ravens are back in the postseason.
I would not want to play the Baltimore Ravens, to have to prepare for them for all those zone reads and different running plays that he presents, and then all those blitzes that they give you on defense.
On the other side of the ball, I love the veteran experience they have on defense, and this is a defense, they'll go to Kansas City because they had a lot of confidence that they could beat Kansas City when they played them previously, and they'll go to New England. They're not afraid of either one of those teams.
They're certainly not afraid of the team that they'll play next weekend, Wild Card Weekend, the Chargers. I just did that game 2 weeks ago. They went to StubHub and beat the Chargers. And this Ravens offense, those 7 games with Lamar Jackson, they're averaging 230 rushing yards a game. Ridiculous stuff. Let's go to the top seed, Kansas City. Lock that down today, Mike and Chris.
Yeah, they get it done. Chris, do you have faith in the Chiefs at home as the #1 seed?
I do. I don't care about the history. It's the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is the most dangerous player in the NFL, okay? And it's a year where the AFC doesn't have a dominant team. And we'll see if not Tyreek Hill, but Sammy Watkins, if he comes back, watch out for the Chiefs in the playoffs.
You know who the quarterback was the last time the Chiefs won a home game, playoff home game?
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Chris,
maybe Lundell.
Chris, what about the defense? You're not worried about
They're going to have to win shootouts. I'm worried about that. I know what it is. But they're going to, that quarterback guy. Just throw that ball.
One more note. Denver Broncos expected to part ways with Vance Joseph after 2 losing seasons, the first back-to-back losing seasons for the Broncos since 71-72.
Yeah, obviously there's such a high expectation there in the Rockies, and Denver has not hit that. So Houston Texans fans, you will watch with great interest to see who the opponent will be. It's an opponent you know. We're likely going to see a South matchup unless there's a tie tonight. The winner of this one goes to Houston on Wild Card Weekend. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we're in Nashville, so Carrie Underwood sounds will be just perfect down there. 9 minutes away until Carrie gets us going. Sunday Night Football, the last game of the year, game 256 for the last spot. If there is a winner, if there's a tie, Pittsburgh gets in. The busiest day in the NFL, 15 games today, ton of great action, a lot of impact. Let's show you what happened with the best of Week 17, presented by Verizon, the best network with the best unlimited. To Foxborough with the Patriots, looking to clinch a bye with a win, doing just that. Rodney, you like Tom Brady today?
Yeah, I think he needed this game to build some confidence because the last couple of weeks hadn't played great.
8-0 at home. The Pats are the 2 seed. Houston is the 3 seed. We'll play the winner of this game. Deshaun Watson did it on the ground with his good running efforts. 5-yard score there. An 11-5 season for Houston. Jacksonville, an AFC finalist last year. 5-11 this year. Chargers and Denver. Rivers up top. Tony, 12 wins, but they're the 5 seed.
And it was the Chargers' D today that did the job.
Chargers are going to play Baltimore. Kansas City is the #1 seed. Patrick Mahomes. Rodney, you had a brief comment when I had a moment of hesitation. So obviously, Mr. Mahomes is your MVP.
He is, man. It's just, I mean, I'm amazed every single week he's making plays like this, but I am concerned, Chris Sims, about their defense.
50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. That's the #1 seed. Road to the bowl in the AFC goes through Arrowhead. Pittsburgh was trying to get back in. They rallied. Big Ben to Juju Smith-Schuster. Pittsburgh finished 9-6-1. If there's a tie, as I said, they get in, but very unlikely Pittsburgh's going to get to the playoffs this year because Baltimore won the division. Dramatic game against Cleveland. Lamar Jackson has just revolutionized the league right now in 7 games.
He really has. No one knows how to play this offense.
These 2 young quarterbacks, so exciting to watch. Mayfield late, intercepted by C.J. Mosley. Unlike last year when they got knocked out, they get in with a big win for John Harbaugh and the Ravens. Seattle's the 5 seed in the NFC, tied late in the 4th. Russell Wilson gets him down there. Sebastian Janikowski kicks it through. Pete Carroll in a rebuild turnaround team, 10 wins and the playoffs. Man, love watching the Seahawks play.
Fourth quarter magic by
Absolutely.
Russell.
The Rams locked down the 2 seed. They were trying to secure the bye. Their defense got it done. 4 takeaways. Corey Littleton, the pick 6. LA will put up their feet. 13-3 off for a week. They'll host a game in the Coliseum in about 13 or 14 days. And the Chicago Bears knocked their division rival Minnesota out of the playoffs with a solid performance, including the defense, to get win 12 on the season. And the Bears will play the Eagles on Wild Card Weekend. The division champs from the North helped out the Super Bowl champs from last year. Nick Foles got hurt, but throws a touchdown here, 1 of 2. Eagles dominate the Redskins, who were limited to under 100 yards. Philly is back in the playoffs. Doug Peterson, injuries, adversity, but a return to the tournament to defend the trophy.
A lot of excitement, a lot of jubilation in the locker room, and just told the guys congratulations. We're in the postseason, and you know, it's what I told them exactly what I mentioned earlier, we set out to get yourself into the tournament. They've done that, and, we just got another opportunity next week.
And next week's going to be fun, so let's take a peek at Wild Card Weekend. Times and networks to be determined. We'll tell you that during our Sunday night broadcast here over the next few hours. Dallas-Seattle, it's a rematch of the Wild Card game a dozen years ago with Tony Romo up in Seattle. Chicago and Philly, 30 years after the Fog Bowl, and it's Nagy and Doug Peterson, a couple of Andy Reid protege offensive minds going head-to-head in the playoffs. The Rams and the Saints will wait. I ask you, Mr. Harrison, Mr. Dungy, who is the most dangerous of that NFC group?
I would say the Chicago Bears, and not even really for their defense. Of course, that plays a factor. I'm looking at the offense, Mike. They have so many weapons, and when Matt Nagy decides to run the ball, he has two running backs that can do different things. But when he's running the football, Jordan Howard down the middle, I think they become very dangerous.
And that Chicago defense, to me, that's the one team that could go into New Orleans and win. But I'll say this. If Nick Foles is healthy, watch out for those Eagles. You don't want to deal with the defending champs if he's healthy.
Foles said after the game, chest injury, he's sore. He'll know more tomorrow. We'll be asking that all week. The story of the AFC, where 5 spots are set. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Arrowhead and Kansas City. Patriots will have a home game in the playoffs off a bye for the 9th consecutive year. It'll be the Chargers in Baltimore, the rematch of the Week 15 game out at StubHub, dominated by the Ravens defense and rushing. And Houston will play the winner of this one, the Texans and Colts. The Titans, they split all the way around, no matter who the matchup comes up with in this one. Let's turn our attention to tonight's win-in game, and obviously with a quarterback injury, you're looking at one thing. We're also talking about defense for Indianapolis.
Yeah, and I watched that first game closely, and Indianapolis dominated. They were quicker up front on both sides of the ball. Now, no Marcus Mariota. Everything should favor the Colts, but Derrick Henry can be the wild card to me. He can be the answer.
I look at the Colts defense and I'm saying, I'm gathering 8, 9 guys around the box. I'm forcing Blaine Gabbert. There's no way I'm going to allow Derrick Henry to beat me.
He has been their guy, so can they focus on it? Can Gabbert come up big? Here's a guy who was a 10th overall pick, washed out in Jacksonville after 4 years.
Do you believe in Gabbert?
He's going to get some chances.
Do you believe in Gabbert?
Did you see what he did last week? He brought him back.
I just asked a question.
Well, here are the Subway picks.
We'll find out.
Subway restaurants. I'm going to answer the question.
No.
I believe in him enough to say I think the Titans will win the game and win the division.
Then you do believe in him.
Wow.
Liam McHugh is talking about communication issues between us and him, but he's going to go on the Colts. Let's go over to Mike and Chris.
Mike, I'm with you. I'm taking the Titans tonight. Blaine Gabbert, I don't care. I think Derrick Henry gets it done, Chris.
What? You're crazy. Okay, I'm going the Colts, though. Andrew Luck's on the field. I got to go with them in this situation.
All right. Rodney?
I'm going, I'm not going with Blaine Gabbert. I'm just against Andrew Luck. No disrespect. I'm going with the Colts.
And you know, I've got to pick the Colts, and I'm riding with Andrew Luck as well.
A fascinating night. The league, there's so many twists and turns. It was offense all year, but the defenses turn it around at the end. And you see tonight's winners brought to you by Subway Restaurants as we get set for game 256. Oh, yeah. We remember the Titans very well. It is winning you're in. It's the Colts and the Titans.
Hit them low.
Game 256 coming up. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya bring it to you on Sunday Night Football. Who gets the last spot in the NFL playoffs? Enjoy the game.
This has been Hyundai's Sunday Night Kickoff.